Hey everybody, it's James from Wealthquest. Hey, I know there's a lot of fear and uncertainty and anxiety swirling around in a lot of us right now, and I hate that. I wish that this was over. I wish that we didn't have to go through this, but unfortunately the human experience involves a whole lot of negative, and this is what we are dealing with right now. But I want to share with you an observation and a challenge today. And a lot of times these videos are me talking in many ways to myself. When I say it, I get to hear myself say it, and I get to remind myself that the things that I'm saying are true. And so this is therapy for me, so welcome to my therapy session. So I was at the store on Saturday, the grocery store, and the canned food aisle was completely bare. There were 3 cans left of turnip greens, canned turnip greens. Now, I'm confident that the store started with more than 3 cans. I'm also pretty confident that those cans had probably been sitting on that shelf for over a decade. But people are in such a panic, and we are so desperate to medicate the fear that we're feeling that we will do whatever we can control. We will hoard toilet paper and bottled water and canned turnip greens, whatever it is. We'll buy everything we can, and it's not actually because we're really protecting ourselves. It's because we're making ourselves feel better. We're having a new thought that says, I'm gonna be okay because I have 6 years worth of toilet paper in my house. That is the thought that we're okay, that makes us feel better. It's not actually the toilet paper, right? It's not actually the canned turnip greens that's making us feel better. And it's one thing for us to see that hoarding and dismiss it as irrational or ridiculous. And I'm not trying to do that. What I actually want to do is call us to an attention that we're all, in many cases, doing a lot of this same stuff. We're all medicating this negative emotion, and we're all fighting to feel better in the midst of it. And one of the things I want to just challenge us with is how we're using this time. You know, here we are in a season where things have slowed down dramatically, where we have all this time at home, all this time where we're not driving and we're not going and we're not doing, and we can just be. And what I'm concerned about for myself as well as for all of us is that it's really easy for us to fall into the trap of using that time to hoard information. We may not be hoarding canned turnip greens or toilet paper, but we can still hoard. And it's still about making us feel better. And what I've seen in myself and in others is a tendency to hoard information, to sit in front of 24-hour-a-day news or scroll through your news feed or constantly be receiving new information in an effort to somehow feel better, that if I just know enough, if I have enough control over all that's going on, if I can follow the death toll in Italy tick by tick, minute by minute, somehow I'm gonna feel better about my awareness. But what I want us to recognize is that following all of that tick by tick doesn't change our life at all. It actually is not valuable. We're still going to be where we are. We're still going to show up the same way. We're still going to follow the same social distancing rules, all the things that apply, whether one more person dies this second or this minute or not. That doesn't change how we show up. What changes how we show up is that we're constantly being inundated by the fire hose of fear. 24-hour-a-day news is absolutely flooding us with thoughts that create anxiety and terror. And I just want to challenge us, is that a good use of this season? Is that a good use of this time? What if we use this time instead to work on our family vision, if you haven't done that yet? This is a great time to do that. The kids are home. You can have a family meeting at a drop of a hat. This is the time to start working on how we're going to show up as a family. Why do we exist? Why do we want to be together as a family, and what do we want to be about? What are our core values? So that on the other side of this, and there is another side of this will end, we can actually show up that way. What if we use this time to be more about preparation for what we want to be on the other side rather than preparation for doomsday? I am very confident that no one's family vision or personal mission statement says, I exist to sit in front of the TV and be terrified all day. No one's purpose is to receive all of these thoughts and fears and anxieties and just sit in them and sulk in them and be terrified. That's not the point of our human existence. The point of the human existence is for us to live on purpose, impacting others and being connected to others. And we may not be able to do that physically in this environment. We may not be able to go and do what we would normally do. But if we take the time to use this time well and do the hard work to figure out what does it look like for us to show up as a family on purpose in this season. We may not be able to do what we used to do, but can we write cards to people who need encouragement? Can we show up and drop off food or meals to people who can't get out of the house because they're quarantined? Whatever the case may be, what does it look like for us to really show up on mission in an environment where sometimes that has to change? We got to pay attention to that, and we got to be about that work in order for us to look back on this season and say we did something valuable with it, instead of just sitting in front of the news and letting it scare us for the rest of this time. So that's what I want to encourage us with today. What does it look like for us to use this time well and show up in a way that actually leads towards growth rather than shrinking back? Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll talk to you next week.